What's going on, Pride Nation, and welcome to the One Pride Podcast. Yes, it's your host, Mr. MicroMike, and we are about to have a sick one tonight. It's going to be locked, it's going to be cocked, and it's going to be full of fire, even though it's a skeleton crew. But we are ready to give you what you desire, and that is some Detroit Lions fun, drinking that Kool-Aid content from me, and maybe a little more sober from my guy here, Antonio Hightower, also known as Tone. What's going on, man?
What's up?
Hey, man, we'd like to announce something right now. Antonio Hightower, I want to hear congratulations in the chat because he is the newest member of ISN. He is joining the crew, and he will be with us as much as he wants to be with us, man. So congratulations, buddy.
Thank you.
Hey, man, we like the insight that you're bringing. You're not a Kool-Aid drinker like myself, but we love that. We love that. But let me go ahead and shout the chat out. What's going on below zero? The Grid Iron Blitz, Pat Blue Ball, TA and Noble Sports, The Grid again. C Perry, man, what's going on, man? Riley K, my daughter's in here. That is extremely nice. Let's see, One Pride Nation. What's going on, One Pride Nation? He's a Lions YouTuber. Go ahead, subscribe to his channel. Branny Kenny, Chris Cashbaugh. Let's see here. Jorge PC Payload. Sup, Mikey Poo? That's what's up, is the Mikey Poo. I like it, PC Payload. Hey, Tone, we got some breaking news that happened a couple days ago. Well, it's not breaking news now, but it was breaking news. And that is the NFL has canceled 2 preseason games, week 1 and week 4. How does that affect our beloved Detroit Lions?
So now, really, not just the Lions, most NFL teams probably gonna come to the season really rusty. They haven't been like they haven't done any in person. The team hasn't been together in person. They haven't been they've been talking over the computer, but they haven't really been doing stuff in person. Now you already got no training camps. You take away 2 preseason games. Now it's gonna be harder for some of them undrafted free agents to make the roster, or even make the practice squad.
Facts.
So that's really gonna hurt them. It might hurt some of the team. It might be rusty. So I'm really interested how teams are gonna play this. Are they gonna play their starters more to get their starters ready for the season, or are they gonna play the backups more so the backups can make a name for themselves? Because usually what happens in the NFL preseason is like the first 2 games, you use the backups, and third game, it's kind of like the dress-up game. You use the starters for like the first half, and then the fourth game pretty much is like backups and the backups for the backups. That's what guys like
the backups.
Yeah. That's the guys like Tion Green made their name.
Yeah. And you know what? You bring up a great question. Are they even going to play? How much will they play the starters? How is it going to be different? That's intriguing because we don't know. This is unprecedented. I don't remember anything like this. What's going on? Brandon CR7, Hollywood 80. Yes, I agree. AT, what's going on, brother? Everybody congratulate Antonio Hightower. He is the newest member of ISN. This guy brings some great analysis, and he is the opposite of me when it comes to drinking the Kool-Aid, but that's what we need. Balance, and it's important. But yes, when it comes to these preseason games, guys, you bring up an interesting point. How much are the starters going to play? Are they going to play? How much? Because we need to see what these younger guys, we need to see what these rookie free agents, these late round rookies, what can we do? We don't know what they can do if they are not on the field. Josh Johnson, what's going on? Dwayne Hogan, John Kapler, welcome. Yes, congratulations to Antone, man. Drop your link. He says drop the link. And we will have his link up. I will have his link up on my channel in the next video I drop. I will do that, I promise. He has not made a video yet, but we will get him crack a lack, smack, and attack and real quick whenever he wants to do that. But I want to see that because I want to look at these young guys and see what they bring to the table. What's going on, Smiles Place? I want to see what they bring to the table. Are they going to be to the table? 2 preseason games is not enough, folks. It's not enough. It's absolutely not enough, in my opinion. How do we find the Tion Greens? How do we find the players that come in out of nowhere and make a squad? And that's, to me, is the most important. Sub to MicroMike. That's my daughter. You better sub to her, too. She does some crazy little videos. Subscribe to my daughter, Riley K. She's the coolest with the cat. Hey, what's going on, Chastity Hudson? And do you think, Tone, do you believe that they'll play starters in preseasons 2 and 3?
I mean, I feel like the starters are going to get some minutes. You know, they probably might give them a quarter, maybe in each game. I feel like, or like half a quarter, something to get the starters out there together. Because I already know they said training camps is going to be a lot smaller, and it's probably going to be a lot different. So the starters probably going to be a little rusty. But then at the same time, like what? It depends on the team. I think maybe because some teams might prioritize seeing, you know, putting all the young guys out there first. Maybe a guy like Matthew Stafford doesn't go out there because he's a veteran. Maybe you don't see a guy like Kenny Galladay. Instead, you see a guy like Cephas. But maybe you will see Okudah because even though he's a really good player, he's a younger player. Get him some minutes in a game. So I think it just depends on the coaching staff.
Yeah, that's fact. What's going on, J3rd? What's going on, James Phelps? Welcome to the chat, Smiles Place. The only comment I've seen from you, Smiles Place, was the sup, Mike. So I did not see it. Jeff Hemme, welcome to the chat. Welcome there, One Pride Nation. Yeah, I'm curious. You know what? Will they play the Kenny Galladays? Will they play the Matthew Staffords, the Marvin Joneses? Because you're right. If the training camp is much smaller, what's going on, True Teller? If the training camp is shorter, the more for risk of injury is higher, the less NFL shape they are to get in. So this is extremely intriguing, if you ask me, of a situation all around. You're making some fantastic points there. And I'm concerned. There's so many things to be concerned about. And another concern is the NFL season. Before that, do you think any more games could get canceled? Do you think the other 2 preseason games could get canceled? Do you believe that an NFL regular season game could get canceled, Tone?
I doubt it at this point. Like I know they've already canceled a bunch of the training camps. They already shortened some of the camps. They already cut out 2 games. I don't know at this point if they would cancel. Like only way I could see it canceled if like just like a huge spike happened. Maybe when the NFL start up preseason game, and then a whole bunch of people get, you know, COVID. Maybe I could see them canceling, but I don't see them canceling anything else.
Yeah, for sure. Initially I was not worried at all when it comes to. I'm sorry, I'm having some computer issues. When it comes to losing preseason or losing games, I was not concerned. But when it comes to the state of Michigan, I live near the Grand Rapids area. What's going on, Tone of Voice? I live in the Grand Rapids area, and we're going to go from phase 4, it looks, to phase 3. And if that occurs, that concerns me because that means the barbershops again, this, that, and the other, Corona, it could come back. And I'm concerned because I was talking to Go Lions last night. Shout out to Go Lions. And he made a statement. He goes, what if they don't send kids to school? What if the kids do not start school? And I say, okay. And he goes, so how are you going to play kid peewee football? How are you going to play high school football, college football? It all comes down. And I'm like, whoa, that is kind of nerve-wracking, Tone. It is a little bit.
Well, I could see them cutting out like high school. College really seems like they want to start at this point. And colleges sound like they're adopting the principle of, like, for a while, they was talking about this a couple months ago. They was like some teams may not even participate at all in this new season. Yeah, because some depending on which state you're in. Mm-hmm.
That's facts because it's got to be universal. The NFL is countrywide. And yes, Damian Estrada says, did you all hear the NFL saying that they will allow fans in the stadiums if they sign waivers? I did read that, and that makes sense. Sign waivers, obviously, because they don't want to be in trouble if someone gets the coronavirus for sure. And to me, if that occurs, to sign the waivers just makes a lot of sense in my opinion. And I get it, man. I think that's a good idea to sign waivers. We want to see some football games. Even even if the fans are cut in half in the stadiums, or if there's no fans at all, I still want to see some football games, man. And to me, that's the most important part. So I think the governor said there'd be no high school sports. Wow. I did not know that. I did not know that. Hopefully that's not. Abdul Terrell says, you think Troxel will shave his head if they cut Nick Bodden? Yes, please. Yes, please. I would die. I would absolutely die. So, would you like to see Troxel's hair cut off? Because he got Jesus hair. I think that would be fun to see.
Yeah, I would like to see that.
So yes, go ahead.
I was about to say, I don't know if you should do that if Nick Bolton get cut, because I already think Nick Bolton's gonna get cut.
I know, I do too. I think he could get cut too, man. And his sadness will rain upon. His sadness will rain upon. I don't know if you knew last night, but Megatron Calvin Johnson appeared on the DB room after I think it was like 8 or 9 o'clock last night. There was a couple of mix-ups. But the situation last year was Calvin Johnson and the Detroit Lions were not getting along. After last night, do you believe that Calvin Johnson is the good guy here? Do you think the Lions are the good guy? What do you think about the Calvin Johnson Detroit Lions situation?
So I don't know much about the situation. I saw he was in the DB room, but I never actually watched it.
Yeah.
The situation about the money, I still think they should have given him the money. I mean, didn't they do the same thing to Barry Sanders? Like, you can't, like, you are allowed to do that, but like, you look bad if you do that, and especially with, and you know, Calvin Johnson was the old regime. Like, he only played like 1 year under Bob Quinn.
Yeah,
because he had been talking about. First of all, they took the money. He wanted the money back, and that's a guy you probably want around your organization. You know, that being around the young wide receivers and stuff, you would want that. And that's probably a Mark IV thing. I doubt Bob Quinn, like, he probably talked to her about that. Well, not, she got a Sheila Ford thing now, but like, I doubt Bob Quinn could do anything about that. He could probably talk to her, but I doubt she would. You know, I doubt it's his decision. It's probably a management, an owner decision, because they pretty much did the same thing with Barry Sanders.
Yep.
And now, 20 plus years later, you're doing the same thing with Calvin Johnson. It's got to be the owners. So yeah, I'm on Calvin's side on this.
You know what? Last year I was on Calvin's side, and I'm still on Calvin's side. Megatron has done a lot for the city. He's done a lot for the Detroit Lions. He's a very humble guy. And when he shouts my kid out and he shouts myself out, of course, I'm going to be on his side. And they didn't talk about that last night. They didn't really want to get into that. And I appreciate that. They just want to get into the funny stories. But I'm still on Calvin's side about this, man. And I want to see him retire a Detroit Lion and become in the Detroit Lions Hall of Fame. I do. I want to see that. I want to see him in the NFL Hall of Fame. He's a great. They did it to Barry Sanders. Barry came back. And I think that to see Megatron back, you know, with the Lions and in the good graces is something I want to see as a fan. I love Megatron. Megatron, I got to see him his whole career. And I want to continue to see him in his whole career as I get older. You know, I wasn't able to see Barry Sanders throughout his whole time. I was just a young kid. And so, and I have an attachment to what's going on, Don19. Welcome to the chat, bro. It took Barry a few years to come back to the organization. Yeah, it did. And I want to see Megatron back in here. I do. I want to see him on the sidelines. I want to see him at training camp doing the kind of Barry Sanders thing. What say you?
Yeah, I would really like to see him with the team. You know, we don't want another Barry situation. You know, it took him a very long time to get back on good ground with his organization. I would just give him the money back, and I don't even know if he would come back at the money back. Now, he hasn't really been around the new regime at all. Yeah. So maybe giving the money back in the new regime would make it easier for him to come back than, you know, if it was Martin Mayhew was still the GM. But yeah, I would do anything I can to get him around the organization.
Yeah, he's a good ambassador. He's a good guy overall, very laid back. He took a beating. I want to see him. I want to see him back in Detroit. It's funny, he talked about how you want the Atlanta Falcons to trade for him and not get and drafted to Detroit because it's cold here. And I get it, man. I don't like the cold either. Man, I wish I could be in a warm area and live like that all the time, folks. Since we have a skeleton crew, if you want to throw questions out there, by all means, throw it out there. If we have time, and we do, we'll just go ahead and jump into that subject. Should have never happened in the first place. These guys are so important to Detroit. I agree. If Calvin Johnson getting penalized for retiring, the NFL should get penalized for Vontae Davis for retiring at halftime. That was crazy, man. Retiring at halftime? Man, That's crazy, man. How do you retire at halftime? That's worse than Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck. Here's some interesting line news. Devontae Adams said the Lions never disguised their offense, and they knew exactly what was happening. What's your thoughts on that? What do you think about that we don't disguise our offense?
Well, it wasn't really that they don't disguise the defense. It was mostly talking about the technique that Slade plays when he's in man versus in his zone and how they didn't disguise it. Because I wonder who that would fall on, because like it's Patricia's scheme, but he doesn't call the plays. And even though Pasqualoni calls the plays, he doesn't teach the techniques. So like, would that fall on like the DB coach? That fall on the defensive coordinator, or would that fall on Patricia? Because this is a situation like we don't really know. Like we don't really know who told him to play this technique. Yeah. So it's just a complicated situation for me. But when I heard that, I was like, that probably one of the reasons, because like even not only did Slade start playing worse. I mean, he got cooked in the second game, but let's not talk about that. Not only was Slade playing worse, as the season went along, actually the whole secondary got worse as the season went along. Specifically the corners. They just started struggling. So that might have been one of the reasons. Yeah, for sure. This was reminiscent to exactly when we had with KFC. Remember when we played the Jets game with the first year of Matt Patricia, and the Jets players, they stated, hey, we knew exactly what the offense was doing. And this is extremely reminiscent of that, but now on the defensive side. I'm not 100% sure if this was Matt Patricia. I'm not 100% sure if that was Paul Pepperoni. I'm not 100% sure. All I know is I hate hearing this idea that they kind of know exactly what's going to go on. And hopefully in 2020 that this kind of changes a little bit. This gets to a better situation where it's just a little bit of disguise. I mean, we got to play a little game of chess here every once in a while. Checkers is okay, but at the same time, we need every help we can get. And our defense was god awful last year. And at rank 31 right now, we have to improve. And hopefully it was Pepperoni, because we got rid of KFC. We brought in Darrell Bevel, huge difference. We got rid of Pepperoni. Now we bring in Unlin. Hopefully there's a difference there. Yeah, maybe. I mean, it was a lot of things that went on with the defense last year. Jorge says what was the reason behind canceling week 1 and week 4 of the preseason and keeping 2 and 3? That's COVID related. I think week 4 is generally when the people are kind of getting ready for the regular season. Maybe they just wanted to make sure, give them more preparation, not getting sick. And same thing with week 1 of the preseason. Training camp is actually starting. It's not going to be as long, so maybe they want to be a little bit careful in that sense. So when Calvin comes out of retirement and signs with the Lions, my reaction would be, oh my God. That would be my reaction. That would be interesting to see. I don't think it's not going to happen though. Let's see here. I think he needs to, you and Dose and Dion, I love listening to you both. Well, guess what? On Wednesday, I'm on with Dose of Dion on his show. And I think that is 7 p.m. EST on Dose of Dion. What's Patricia need? New guy call plays. That's why, yes. Do you think that Corey Unlin's going to call plays? And do you think
he's going to have control of this defense over Matt Patricia?
Yes, because like Pascaloni pretty much had free reign of the defense. Now Patricia, of course, he's gonna offer his input. He's probably gonna help or just come up with the game plans by himself. And it's gonna be a scheme, but at the end of the day, they're calling the plays, even though it's pretty like it's kind of like Nick Saban at Alabama. Like we know whose defense it is, but you know when you but we know whose defense it is, but he's not really calling that defense. Now he's gonna have input on that defense. But I think Underlin is gonna pretty much have free reign. Patricia didn't really start calling plays last year until Pascaloni the defense really started struggling. That's when Patricia started really taking over, calling the plays for the defense more and more.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that Corey Undlin will have free reign. I think it's important that a head coaches, and I think it's important your coordinators coordinate and put responsibility upon these coaches. Matt Patricia has got to be control of the whole team, not just in control of a defense. He needs to maintain watching the plays. He needs to maintain the flags. He's got to be able to motivate his players. He's got to be a head coach. And I'm really hoping that Corey Undlin will take command of this defense and do his thing and put a little of his own influence on it. We've seen what happened when Darrell Bevell took command and complete control of this offense. I want to see that with our defense. I truly do. I think it's important that dissemination of responsibility gets placed down. Micromanagement never works, even though I'm MicroMike. Macro is the best way to go, man. It's the best way to go. Disseminate responsibility. When I was in the Army, I would have my specialist. I would dissemination responsibility to them. I would have my responsibilities, but then I would give them responsibilities, so I'm not doing it all. It's very important to give people responsibility so it's not all on your shoulders. I would like to see some Detroit Lions reruns on TV. That would be really cool, man, to see some old reruns. Now, I think you can do that on, I'm sure not what program it is, but Comcast or whatever, but they got an ability to where you can watch games without any time in between and no commercials if you like doing that. So I think they do that. NFL Network, I'm not 100% sure. I think they do some games too. NFL Game Pass is still free. There you go. That's what it was. NFL Game Pass, James Phillips. Check that out, and you will definitely able to watch some of the games and have a good time doing so. Who in this chat is subbed to this channel? I have no idea, but folks, I see that there's 30 in the chat. Please hit that like button if you haven't done so. And if you're not a subscriber to mine while listening, let me know. I will shout you out. I will shout you out for sure. And that's what happens, man. I'm also, if you want to become a member of my channel, go ahead. The link is in the description, and we will get to that. Now, the NFLPA suggested that players not train with other players. However, our franchise quarterback, Mr. Matthew Stafford, he did train with the players. And what is your thoughts on that, Tone?
So, like, I know the NFLPA said that, but a lot of players have been training with other players. Danny Amendola, I think he was in Texas. I think, they was using Baker Mayfield as a QB. Golden Tate, I'm pretty sure he just trained with Jamal Agnew. I think Kenny Galladay. No, it was Quintez Cephas. I think he was in California with Marvin Jones. He was also Matthew Stafford was in Georgia with DeAndre Swift and Isaac Nada. Because it's a lot of NFL players that are still training with other NFL players. Because even though the NFLPA says this, like they still understand they got to get ready for the NFL season. Now they probably ain't training as much as they would if the situation wasn't going on. But yeah, I like that he's still training and getting some get a connection with some of these players.
What's going on, Detroit for life? And that's Riley. That is my daughter. So she's going crazy right now beside me. Daddy, I got subs. So I think that's really cool.
You need 5 more subs.
Oh, okay. 5 more subs for what?
For you, like 3K.
I cannot be that close to 3K.
See, it says.
Okay, but I know, buddy. I'm getting there, but we will get there. Hey, what's going on, Dosa Dion? Who is this you talking to? This is Antonio Hightower, the newest member of ISN. If you haven't known, make sure you go ahead and give this man a shout out. And congratulations. He works extremely hard. He is very good when it comes to Detroit Lions content. And we also got the fantasy show on Mondays. 5,000 subscribers. Wow, come on. We need 5. Let's go. We need 5. That would be nice, man. That would absolutely be nice. So, yeah, when it comes to Matthew Stafford training with these players, I think it's absolutely awesome. I don't really care about what the NFLPA suggested. The NFL season, we're going to have less training camp. We're not having all these mini camps. We're a lot of separation. But in my opinion, football is going to go on. And if you want these guys to actually be safe, if you want these guys to be in football shape, they need to train. Because if they don't train and they don't get into football shape, expect injuries, torn ACLs, expect everything. And that is the type of stuff we don't need to see. With everyone going on 2020, people shouldn't be surprised. The crazy bug, the Lions plus 10 wins. I agree. It's important that they train. And to me, going to the gym, getting in shape is just as important as social distancing and washing your hands. If you expect these grown men who's going to punch each other in the face and take massive hits to not train with each other, to not get in football shape, and think that's going to be actually a positive for the season, then you're going to go ahead and experience a lot of pain for the players. And also for the fact that they need to get in sync. There's no training. There's no mini camps. There's a lot of less training with each other. They need to get on the same page and understand the playbook. Don't you agree that, Tone?
Yeah, I do agree, because a lot of football is about timing, especially playing quarterback and receiver is a lot about timing.
Mm-hmm.
I know this guy's going to run this route this fast. He's going to be here by the time I take this third step. But he's not. He's going to be here by the time I take this third step. So you got to have a rapport with your receivers. So that stuff is really important, especially with no training camp, no repetitions. So stuff like this is really going to be important now for the season, especially because a lot of quarterbacks are probably going to come out rusty.
Yeah, that's 100% facts. And folks, if you got any questions, since it's just a skeleton crew, let us know. We will deviate to them immediately. I got a bunch of questions myself. We will definitely deviate to here, and we're here with Tone, Antonio Hightower, ISN. It says, what do you think about AB training with Russell Wilson out there in California? That's interesting. Holy smokes, folks. I see there's 77 that just popped in the chat. If you have not subscribed to my channel, because I have a little over 60% of people are not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. I will shout you out in the chat, and we will have fun. I think that's very interesting that they're training together when it comes to Antonio Brown and Russell Wilson. I am a man of faith, and I always believe in forgiveness. If he can actually change the way he acts and operates, look, if they can do it with Michael Vick, they can do it with Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown's got a lot of skill set. He still needs to mature, and I want to see it. But at the same time, I think that's perfectly fine. What say you, man? What do you think about the Antonio Brown thing?
So Antonio Brown is a weird situation, because even when Antonio Brown last season, he was still probably a top 10 receiver, if not top 5 receiver in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yet, because of his legal situation and all his stuff off the field, teams have they haven't went near him. Like there have been rumors about teams wanting to pick him up, but nobody's actually done it, because even in a situation like Colin Kaepernick, his situation, they're out of the league for different reasons. Guys like Greg Hardy, he's kind of in a situation with a guy like Greg Hardy. He's not like it's all his legal. Like the Patriots got rid of him because of his legal. He had a case coming up, I think, with somebody who had painted his house, and with that whole situation, So that's one of the legal stuff, all the stuff on the field is the reason he's not in the NFL. If he can get that figured out, then teams will probably, I ain't gonna say teams will line up to sign him because of his history, but I bet there's a bunch of teams that would at least have interest.
Yeah, for sure. And look, again, I appreciate the question, Jorge. Yes, I see 179 in the chat, folks. I appreciate everybody on multiple platforms coming together and enjoying the show. And I appreciate every one of you. If you subscribe to my channel, let me know. I will immediately shout you out. I think it's important. A lot of my individuals who listen to my talk are not subscribers. So please subscribe. I will shout you out. Hit that like button. And when it comes to Antonio Brown, what do you say about would you consider the Lions picking him up?
I wonder if the Lions locker room is ready for a guy like Antonio Brown. Like, I would interested, but the Patriots gave up on him. So, like, once the Patriots give up on you, you look bad around the league. If you can't make it work with the Patriots, then you really have some problems. And I wonder if Bob Quinn, coming from that Patriots organization, would take that chance with an Antonio Brown, because like, he could offer a lot to this team. Him being on this team could really take this team to like another level, especially offensively. But I wonder if Bob Quinn would feel like this is the right move, especially now.
Yeah, for sure. I personally would not take him. I just feel like our offensive weapons are secure. I get it though. I don't want any issues with players personally. I just feel like that's a bad move right now. But it'll be interesting to see if he can square his attitude up. And man, it would be crazy to have him in there. It would be straight up ridiculous, but it's interesting. Now, Boog Spray says, "What up, Micro? What's going on, Boog?" He says, "I'm liking our secondary, and so am I." So let's talk about our secondary. When you look at our secondary, do you think it's going to be a very stout one this year? Do you think it's going to be improved? Do you think it'll regress? What do you personally think about this secondary for Detroit Lions?
So I definitely think it's going to improve. Getting a guy like, because Slay was good on the outside, but Slay really wasn't. Slay couldn't travel with people anymore. You saw it in the Devontae. You saw when he played against Devontae Adams. Even when Devontae Adams knew his techniques, you saw it against Devontae Adams. You saw it against Adam Thielen. You saw it against what's his name, Keenan Allen. Guys who can play on the boundary, but also play in the slot. When they moved into the slot, it was a whole nother story. Slay didn't get destroyed by Keenan Allen on the outside. He got destroyed by him in the slot. And that was the biggest drop off I saw from him. The only receiver who really killed them from the outside was Terry McLaurin in that Redskins game. And you add in a guy like Okudah, who can play not only the slot, he can play on the outside too, because of his he has the length to play on the outside, but he also has the change of direction skills and the knowledge to play on the inside. Getting a guy like Trufant. Now we're going to see how much he still got in the tank.
Yeah.
He's probably not going to be as good as he used to be, but like, even though like he came from Atlanta, and Atlanta's pretty much, they run that old Seattle cover 3 press scheme, which we're going to see what that would translate to the Lions. But like, he's already a great athlete. He already played in the cover 3 press scheme. Now there's a difference between playing zone and playing man. But like, that's the real transition for him, because it's similar. It's very similar, except you're playing man instead of zone. We got Amari Warrior, who he's kind of been overhyped for me. I think a lot of his like, people go like, well, look how good he was. I'm like, but like, big games, the game against the Packers, Slay was falling around Devontae Adams. Game against the Redskins, Slay was falling around Terry McLaurin. So he's going against, I don't even know those guys. I don't even know the name of the other names of receivers on those teams. That's how, like, their receivers are bad.
I don't know anyone on the receiving corps besides Devontae Adams. There's no one else over there.
Nobody. So
nobody. That's facts.
Amari Wario, they're covering practice squad players. So I'm like, I wonder how good he really is. Even though we got him in the 5th round, he probably should have been a 2nd round. Some people even thought there was a slight chance he could go in the 1st round. He should have at least went the 2nd or 3rd round.
He should.
So I think he was a steal. There's Mike Ford. We're gonna see how good he can be. Because even in that game against the Eagles, when Slay got injured in the Eagles game, they put Mike Ford in the game. And that next play, they tested Mike Ford and it didn't work. Because Mike Ford he's a really great athlete. We're gonna see how if he could put it together, as a player. Maybe guys like a True Font could really help him put that together. And can't forget about Justin Coleman. Justin Coleman was pretty good. Justin Coleman really only struggled when we left him really on the island, mostly against Anthony Miller, who is a really great athlete. So, but you could really tell that Justin Coleman is from the New England scheme, because the game against the Chiefs, punching the ball out, the technique that Matt Patricia been trying to teach them for the long time. He's clearly the one who got it down packed, and they came out with some key fumbles. There was that game against the Chiefs where they was about to score the touchdown and he punched it out. And then this other game, early in the game against the Chiefs, they caught the ball short. He runs up, punches the ball out, we get the fumble. Stuff like that. Then we got to talk about the safeties. No, we got to see how much of a jump Tracy Walker can make. Because Tracy Walker is pretty much just the Lions use Tracy Walker pretty much as a cornerback. So we're going to see how much of a jump he can take. Maybe Deron Harmon could help him out in that area, even though they don't really have the same responsibilities. If anything, he's closer to like a Devin McCourty. But, we're going to see how much of a jump he can take. Will Harris is really the interesting one, because Will Harris is a really athletic, strong safety. Like, he's kind of like he's like a less talented Jamal Adams.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he could probably cover a slot receiver. He could play deep, but he's big enough to play in the box. It's just that, could he put it all together? Because the Lions, he was forced to play like as a deep safety last year, because you don't want Tavon Wilson back there. Even though he was pretty decent in that role, you don't really want Tavon Wilson back there because he's not super athletic. So Will Harris really struggled in that role. And even he works better when he's around the line of scrimmage. And that's where really Deron Harmon could really come in and help him, because that's where Deron Harmon shines when he plays deep.
Yeah. I agree with you there. I will get to your question, Jorge. First off, we hit a new record, 457 in the chat. That's the highest I've ever had. Thank you very much to all the platforms out there that's watching this. I appreciate you. If you're on YouTube, make sure to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell for my notifications. Hit that like button. Again, it brings the content out there, and I truly, truly appreciate that. And when it comes to our secondary, I feel like secondary is extremely talented. Extremely talented. We have Jeff Okudah with that 3rd pick in this draft. Jeff Okudah is long. He's langy. He's a ball hawk. I feel like he's going to be a stud. Absolute stud for this team going forward. Desmond Trufant right now is the veteran that's going to help bridge the gap for him, as well as Amani Oruwariye. Buddy, that's my kid, Amani Oruwariye. And so it's going to help them get through the issues that they're going to have, and they will have issues. I mean, that's just a given for sure. Justin Coleman, in my opinion, was a great pickup last year. I think when we had our defensive line with the inability to get to the quarterback and beat their offensive line that they're going against, it really, really hurt the secondary. Absolutely hurt it. And I feel like the secondary is extremely talented. Tracy Walker, I mean, my God, the guy is a ball hawk as well. He gets turnovers. He just needs to stay healthy. And to me, my favorite player we picked up was Deron Harmon. I feel like Harmon is really going to complement that secondary. It's going to really help and put this team together fully, because when we lost Diggs, we traded Diggs to Seattle Seahawks. Our defense really took a nosedive afterwards. To me, that was the nail in the coffin for the season. Stafford going down and then trading Diggs. That was it. That was the defining moment for me through the year. And when you take away a talented safety such as Diggs, it really hurt the team. Interestingly enough, when it comes to Tavon Wilson, I like him as a backup. I think he's a good veteran presence back there. Just putting him in a starting role, same with Harris, it hurt them. It hurt what they're strong at. Harris wasn't ready, and Wilson is a fantastic. I think he's a great backup. I think he is a great backup. I know he gets a little grief here and there, but considering for the backup position, I think he's perfectly fine. And I think we really do have a solid secondary. It may take a little bit to get the next level of solid because we're talking Amani Awarie is a second-year player. Cornerbacks take a little bit, and Jeff Okuda, again, he is a first-year player. So I think it will start maybe a little bit more rougher, but by the end of the year, it'll get better. I mean, if you look at Amani Awarie, he went from being pretty bad in the preseason to looking very stout against who he's going against. And obviously he wasn't going against the greatest talented and a Devontae Adams. But considering he was a rookie 5th-round draft pick, I felt like he did good, in my opinion. Now, Jorge says, have you seen any change the community with the Detroit Lions to inspire change initiative? Have you seen that, Tone? Any change in your community with the Lions Inspire Change initiative?
What is the Lions Inspire Change initiative?
I think that's more reaching out to the communities and getting more in touch with what's taking place on the ground level compared to basically looking as a community as a whole, more of the individuals in the background, such as the poorer people or the individuals that are trying to make change.
So the thing is, I don't live in Michigan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I don't.
So you have no idea.
No.
Yeah, I don't live in the city of Detroit. I live 2.5 hours away, so I couldn't tell you what's taking place there. You'd have to ask an individual that actually lives in the city of Detroit. I think Gridiron Blitz would be a good one to talk to. Travis Troxel would be a good one to talk to. The people that are there, Everything King, you would be really good to talk to. And those guys would be the individuals you probably want to look up. And again, if you ain't subscribed to every one of ISN, please do so. Again, Antonio Hightower is the newest member of ISN. If you ain't congratulate him, please do so in the chat. If you have any questions, let me know. If you throw a super chat, that would be cool too. But and I'll definitely answer your question there. But we're gonna keep going on until we get something, a question from you guys. So here, what Detroit Lion, in your opinion, Tone, is facing the most pressure in 2020?
Gerard Davis.
Yes,
it's easily Gerard Davis for me. Former first round pick. At this point, he's the third best linebacker on the roster. Maybe actually, I shouldn't even say third. He's at this point he's the fourth best linebacker on the roster, and he's been pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the good thing about it is he's pretty self-aware. He, like, when you hear him talk, he talks like he's like, oh yeah, I know I have the talent to be a good coverage linebacker, which means he knows, he has the confidence in himself to get there, but he also knows he's currently not there. He hasn't been that good.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably what had to be Jared Davis, because if he don't, especially because his 5th-year option is coming up, and with how much money he would make on that 5th-year option, I don't see how he would get that. But just to even get a new contract, because at this point, he might get a new contract, maybe a 1 or 2 year contract, just based off of talent. But it would be like a very short contract. So if anybody's on the team with the most pressure, it would have to be him.
I concur with that completely. I completely agree with you there. I think Gerard Davis he's got a ton of pressure on his shoulder. They don't draft Jelani Tavai and pick up Collins for nothing. The pressure is being put on him. I think it was you who said he's a missile that gets shot in a different direction. Yes, that speed. I thought that was a great comment, by the way.
That wasn't me.
Oh, that wasn't you?
No, I said he plays football the way that I forget that dude's name. What's the blind man name?
Mm-hmm. I'm not 100%, man. Hey, no, we're not going to play this game in the chat here. We're not going to be making fun of people. We're not going to be doing this. Ricky Jam is a YouTuber. Please subscribe to his channel. I am not going to deal with racism, and I'm not going to deal with bullying in my chat. That's not what we do here, period. So I will not put up with that type of stuff. We're all we're One more time and you're gone, buddy. We're not going to do this racism stuff here. We don't do this here. We don't do this here. We are one pride. One pride. That means any color. That means any creed. That means any age. That means any orientation. We're one pride. We have one mission, and that is to win football games and talk about Detroit Lions. This world is full of it. This world is full of hate, and we're not going to do that here. This is 2 hours of no hate and enjoy the time, man. That's just not cool, man. That's not cool at all. And so make sure you subscribe to Ricky. And when it comes to Jared Davis, he's definitely. I think you're 100% correct. He is self-aware of. He is self-aware of what's taking place. He is very intelligent. He is a leader of men. I want to see him become his potential because he has it. He absolutely has it. And if he can really put that together, man, he's going to be a solid piece. But you're right, man. He's the third best, or may not even be the third best on the team. And that's interesting to see. So he's got to put it together. I 100% agree with you. Totally. Here's an interesting question for you, Tone. What country would you like to see the Lions play in, not seen right now? Like England, we play there sometimes, or Mexico. What country would you like to see the Detroit Lions play other than the normal ones we hear about? Is there any specific country you say, man, I'd love to see the Lions play there?
Like England, London is clearly the number one place.
Yeah.
They've shown the most interest. The Wembley Stadium, Mexico is second. I guess if other than them two, it would have to be Toronto.
Okay.
Just because of proximity, how close they are. Maybe they could show some interest in some football. They already have Canadian football. They already have the CFL.
Mm-hmm. That's facts. You know what country I would love for the Lions to play in? I'd love them to play in India. I think, man, if you can play in India is a really big country. People don't understand it, and it's a beautiful country with so much old art and stuff. I've been over to the Middle East. I have not been to India, but I would love the Lions to play in India and get over there, man. They bring in some giant crowds. I think it would be lit. I think it would be really fun to see that. Germany has a Lions following, Steve-O. Yes, I know that. You want to know why? There's there is definitely a lot of soldiers in Germany. I think we have stationed around 60,000 or 70,000. So there is a following in Germany. Half of my family are actually immigrants from Germany. They became citizens just a year ago. And they migrated to the United States, and they're full-blood German, man. They speak everything. And so you know what it is to serve duty. This is their responsibility. Professional players be tip-top shape. Yeah, 100%. You got to be in tip-top shape, so no doubt about it. 100% agree with you. Germany would be kind of cool. I've been to Germany. Germany is not my most favorite country I've been to. I think Ireland would be awesome, too. I love Ireland. I think it'd be fun there. And that's just an interesting question because I think India would be fun. I do, man. I do believe that would be fun. Let's see. Here's another question. Buy or sell? Matt Patricia will be fired in 2020.
I'm selling.
Okay.
I think the Lions will be in contention by December. So because Sheila hasn't shown anything to show that that the expectations have changed.
Yeah.
From what they were this year. So I expect them to be in contention by December. So I don't expect them to get fired this year.
I agree with you. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm going to sell it as well. I think that the Lions will be in contention this year. I think they're going to be much better. And I don't want to see them get fired. That means we're sucking. And that's the last thing we want to happen. I think I'm going to sell that. I think Matt Patricia will be back. I think that the whole coaching staff will be back. You're not going to see anyone. And we just got a new special teams coordinator, new defensive coordinator, and I think Darrell Bevel is an outstanding offensive coordinator. C. Perry is selling as well. Let's see. Yes, I will get to you, One Pride Nation, next, and then to Jorge. So I'm with you. I think that all the coaching staff is going to stay, and that's a good thing because we need them to stay. We need to win. And I know you're not a Kool-Aid drinker, but dang it, we need them to win. We need them to win, man.
Yeah.
What Pride Nation says, hashtag ISN. Is Skins owner Dan Snyder going to change the name of the team? And what happened with that FedEx said? I don't know what FedEx said. I have not heard that. No, Dan Snyder will not change the team, in my opinion. The name will stay. That tried to happen 2 years ago, and he refused. I think that occurred. I don't know about FedEx. So, do you think that they're going to stay the name? The Redskins will stay the name.
Yeah, like with the history, they've been Redskins for such a long time. I doubt that they just changed it at this point.
Yeah, they've been Redskins, I think, since Christopher Columbus, and that franchise is old and it's been going on for a long time. I don't think they're going to change. Folks, if you're a fan of another team, you can ask that question too, man. We have no problem talking about other teams at all on this podcast. It's okay, because we do fantasy football as well. And that's on Monday nights on Travis Troxel's channel. So make sure that you check that out at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We talk all things NFL. ISN is Infinite Sports Network. We talk sports infinitely. We talk sports forever. If you go ahead and check that out, and that's what we're all about. He says, do you think Sheila will change the logo and what would the change look like? Okay, no, I do not believe they're going to change the logo. They may tweak it. They always tweak it. But I still think it's a Detroit Lion logo. You want to know, but I'll add to this. You know what my favorite logo is the two lines, the old school one, and with the lion, man. I wish they would go back to that. I thought that was a dope logo, the old school logo. What say you, man? What's your favorite logo?
I guess I'll have to go with the current logo. I actually really like the current logo.
Okay, I agree, man. It's a good logo here. So go ahead, ask any questions while I just pick up another ones. I do not think they're going to change it, by the way. I do not believe. And here's an issue. Do you believe Stafford will be starting in all games in 2020, Tone? That's interesting.
Yes, because I know last year, even when there was rumors that his back wasn't fully healed.
Yeah.
And that he was dealing with some pain. So even coming into the season, like he wasn't healthy all the way. Especially after this year, he got injured. They put him on ice real quick. They had him on ice for a very long time. Since week 10, he didn't really even see the field at all. So I think by this point, I think his back is fully healed. I think he's gonna be good for the whole season.
Hey, man. I hopefully you're correct. Hopefully you're correct. I am hoping with you. I don't know if this is going to be the case, though, because I'm an individual that has a spine injury. I know exactly what it's like, and he could be feeling fine, and it just takes one hit. I think that's why we need to invest. I think we still need to beef up the offensive line, even though it's beefed up. That's my fear. I'm going to say he does not start all games. I think he may not start all games. And I don't think he's going to be out as long as he was, but maybe he misses a game or two. I think it's very possible. That is my fear. Lions don't need the drama of Antonio Brown. 100% agree. Elijah Coakley, hey, man, welcome to the chat. I don't think I've seen you in here before. If so, I apologize. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Josh Jackson, what's going on, brother? Welcome to the chat. Frank Morales, welcome. Do you think they will let the fans in this year? I am thinking maybe 20,000 to spread them out with the masks on. I agree with you. I think initially we may not have. We may not have him or our players no fans on the field. I think it may start out where there's no fans, but I think it spreads out to about 20,000. I don't think it's going to be full until we get the super serum put into us. What say you, man? What do you think?
I think it really will depend on how these next couple months go. Also, I think the NFL is going to adjust how the months go. You know, I think there will be fans. How early, we really will have to see. I think there will be fans. There's probably going to be a bunch of regulations and stuff you're going to have to be forced to do and stuff you're going to have to sign before you can get in. So it's probably going to be less fans, a whole lot less fans, actually. But I think we will see fans at some point.
Okay, Frog Crop, don't worry about sending me money. You can send me that like, and I would appreciate that. He needs to go. He's gone. Ricky Zhang, no, don't give up, brother. When the hate's real, you get started. Yes, he's blocked. Don't worry about it. If you have not subbed, go ahead. That's my daughter again, Ricky Zhang. Yes, that's 100% right. The hate is real. When you do good, folks, the hate is real. People just tend to hate on you, and that's just the bottom line. So I do like that old one. And I agree, man. I agree. Do you believe that the Lions can exceed expectations? And I want to know what your expectations is, Tone. I don't think it's too high. Do you believe that the Lions could exceed expectations?
It depends what the expectations are.
What's your expectation?
I don't know if I expect, like, training camp is really big for me because I really want to see how some players adjust, how some players come back from injuries, specifically like Deshaun Hand.
Mm-hmm.
Training camp was really huge for me because at this moment, it's hard for me to put them in the playoffs, but then sometimes I got to remember it's 7 teams.
Mm-hmm.
And even last year with a healthy Matthew Stafford, the Lions would have had a good chance to they would have at least been in contention if they would have had a healthy Matthew Stafford. So his health is also a huge thing.
Mm-hmm.
So at this moment, no, it depends what the expectations are. If you expect them to go like 3, if you expect them to have like 2-3 wins, then yes, I expect them to see them expectations. But
come on, man. They better exceed that expectation. If we don't get 3 or 4 wins, we're the first pick in this draft, man. Oh, yeah. Man, that's that. Folks, we better exceed Tone's expectations. If we don't, I'm going to be throwing my head against the wall. I'm going to be micro cracked up in the head, bro, because that's some bad expectations right there.
Because my expectations is really like just outside the playoffs. Really.
Okay. Not no 3-4 wins, right?
Nah.
No, let's say
Stafford would have to get injured like week 1. And even then, I don't know if that would even help him get the 3-4 wins.
Oh, man. You're right, man. Hopefully we do make the playoffs. I like that it's a little bit closer. Gregory Janet says, love the content. Over 100 in the tube. Let's keep growing. Well, I appreciate you, brother, that you're in here and you're part of that 100. Salute to you. I'm really feeling the Lions shock the world. I hope they do. Let's see. Keep pushing. Yes, I agree. Coleman's going to be a beast. I think he is too. And we touched on Coleman a little bit earlier, but I really think he's going to turn it up this year because we're going to have more pressure on that defensive line than we did, and that's going to help him turn it over for the Detroit Lions. And I think you agree, right? You think Coleman's going to have a better year this year?
Yeah.
Gregory says, do you think Calvin Johnson's stock and respect will rise once he is a first ballot Hall of Famer in 21? Where does he rank all time in the wide receivers? That is a great question. I absolutely love it. Thank you for the question here. I think I don't know how it cannot rise anymore. The guy is literally one of the most humblest man, and yet he's the most freakish athletes ever to don a uniform. And he is the Barry Sanders of wide receivers. He's just one of those guys where he did it to play the game and to be comfortable. He wasn't just chasing yards or anything. If it gives him more respect than he does, then great. No doubt about it. And here is the fake account again. So I blocked that as well, folks. If you see fake accounts, I have a lot of you guys, our moderators. Please remove them from the account immediately. You all are moderators. What's going on, Go Lions? And I appreciate you joining, brother. It was a great talk last night. Good guy. And do you think that his stock could go up if he's a first ballot Hall of Famer?
I don't know if his stock can really go up any more than it already did because Calvin's stock, especially among the fans, is already really, really high.
Absolutely.
It's really hard to get much higher than really he's at. Most fans, like, even when he was playing, like, it was like it's Calvin Johnson. Like, even when he wasn't Megatron anymore. Like everybody knew who Calvin Johnson was.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the respect from NFL teams. He was getting doubled and triple teamed when he wasn't even near his prime, when he was out of his prime.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know if much higher his stock would go at this point.
I 100% agree. I think he's up there. I think he's up there as one of the most humble players. I don't know if he can get higher than that. I mean, he's literally the wide receiver position is the diva position. I know I played wide receiver. It's the diva position. It is facts. Every time I get a first down, I'd celebrate like a diva. And he's not that type of guy. Now, the second part was, where does he rank in all time in the wide receiver rankings? Great question. I will go first. I'm going to go ahead and say Jerry Rice is number one. I think he's still the greatest wide receiver. He didn't have all the talent in the world, and he put up a lot of numbers. He was a stud. I love Jerry Rice with the San Francisco 49ers. He can even play when he was with the Raiders for a little bit. So I think he's number one. Calvin Johnson, number two. I think Calvin Johnson is the second best receiver to ever wear a uniform. I think Megatron, he has the size of Terrell Owens, and he has the speed of Randy Moss. He has the agility of catching the ball like Randy Moss, but he has the attitude of Jerry Rice. You put that three together, to me, that makes him number two. After that, oh man, there could be a case. I think it would probably be Randy Moss there, and maybe man, I love that Colts receiver, Marvin
Harrison.
Marvin Harrison. I love that wide receiver as well. He was a fantastic player, and I think he's up there. Where do you rank Calvin Johnson at?
So for me, it's really between Randy Moss and Calvin for number one.
Mm-hmm.
I might have to put Calvin. Probably because of situation. Like Randy Moss, it's like he was with the Vikings, opposite of Chris Carter. I forget what that QB was at the time. Then he ended up with the Patriots with Tom Brady. And they ended up, I think they just been in way better situations than Calvin has. Like even Jerry Rice. He had he played for the 49ers when the 49ers were the team.
Yeah.
Like Jerry Rice is one of the reasons they were the team, but like that team had tons of talent around them. Like that team was a dynasty.
Yeah.
Like, and let's not forget the QBs he had.
Yeah.
I mean, he played with Joe Montana and Steve Young.
Mm-hmm.
Like these are legends.
Yeah, that's
Hall of
facts.
Famers.
That's facts. And our quarterback played with Dan Orlowski and Matthew Stafford. Even though Matthew Stafford, pretty good one, but he did have a year with Dan Orlowski. Oh, he's talking about value. Yes, his value will go up. Absolutely. If he gets that Hall of Fame jersey, value will go up, just like Megatron. And yes, I have a lot of signed Megatron memorabilia, so I hope it goes up. That's a hashtag facts on facts crime, man. Jerry Rice, the best football player ever. Oh, okay. So who's the best one ever?
I'm going with Aaron Donald. That dude is insane.
Ooh, that was a flip right there. I didn't expect that. Okay, he is a monster amongst boys.
Like what he did 2 years ago, he was this man was double teamed.
Yeah.
On over 50% of his snaps.
Mm-hmm.
And as a D tackle, put up 20 sacks.
Yes.
But 10 sacks is considered good for a D tackle. He put up 20. He put up more pressures than most people than guys like Von Miller and Khalil Mack do. He was insane.
My daughter says after the show, subscribe to me and my dad. Well, because she said my real name. You call me Dad, right? You don't call me by my real name. The best player ever. Man, there's a lot, but I'm going to say Tom Brady, man. He's the GOAT. He's the best player to ever play the game. I still think he's the GOAT. You get all the rings that he's got, and he may not be done. He may pick up another one. Who knows, man? I think he definitely is an individual I would consider to be the GOAT. Here's another question. What is Bob Quinn's best free agent signing, in your opinion?
Free agent. This is a tough one because free agent signing, because draft pick would be easier, but free agent signing, I guess I would have to go with Trey Flowers at this point.
Yes.
Because like I might have put TJ Lang had he not gotten the concussions and he had to retire early.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I would have to put Trey Flowers. Because Coleman's been a pretty good one, but I think Trey Flowers is just a better player.
Yeah.
And he's younger. So at this point I would have to go with Trey Flowers.
Okay. Frog Crop says, Mike, I live in Holland, Michigan. If I get to meet you, I'll buy you a beer for sure. Yes, I live in Holland, Michigan, too. Home of Kirk Cousins from Holland Christian. So you already know that. I actually live close to MVP. And let's see here. Can I call you? Not right now, Grid. I am live. That's not going to work out too well. Oh, man. When it comes to the best free agent for Bob Quinn, I'm going to change this up, man. I'm going to say Marvin Jones Jr. This guy has been playing since he's been here, and he put up some big numbers. He was a great pickup. We lose Calvin Johnson. He picks up Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones has been good to the community. He's put up a lot of yards. He's playing a lot. He's a singer. He's a good ambassador for Detroit. I really like Marvin Jones. Is he the best wide receiver? No, but he has definitely done well for this team. In my opinion, I think Marvin Jones gets the crown of the crop for the free agency of our beloved Detroit Lions. It was a joke, bro. I am glad it was a joke because that would have been funny for sure. Who is the worst free agent pickup for you?
This is tough. So maybe it might have to be Rick Wagner. This is a tough one because I don't know how many bad free agent pickups I can really think about that were really like if you I don't count. Let's say they signed. I don't count if you signed like a really really low player, like a bad player, to like a really cheap contract. I don't really consider that a bad signing. It would probably had to be Rick Wagner. And then even Rick Wagner's wasn't really a bad one. His was really just a lot of injuries that cut him down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's a battle between Mike Daniels and Jesse James. Mike Daniels, he did nothing on the field at all. Yes, Steve-O, I agree. He gained a lot of money and did absolutely nothing with it. He was not a difference maker at all. And to me, was an absolute bust of a free agent. But again, like you said, it was just a one-year deal. The Jesse James, the reason I say that is because he actually did a fairly a longer deal with more money, and he didn't produce last year. And if he doesn't produce this year, this could be his last year. And we just picked him up in free agency. So in a sense, in regards of when it comes to per capita via year in contract, in my opinion, be Jesse James. Rick Wagner, yeah, man, he definitely didn't live up to the potential he could have. TJ Lang as well didn't live up to it with his injuries. There's a couple of busts out there. Yeah, Jesse James definitely needs to step up this year, in my opinion. If you guys got questions, do hashtag ISN. Let us know, and we will go with the flow and roll with your questions all the way. And that's how we go here in ISN. And again, if you have not hit that like button, please do so. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so, as well as all the members of ISN. And congratulate Antonio Hightower for being a new member of ISN. Do you think we will carry 4 or 5 running backs? That's a great question, C-Period. Absolutely love it. Do you think we're going to carry 4 or 5 running backs, Tone?
4 or 5.
Yes.
I don't know because I know. So I'm pretty sure Swift. We're probably gonna have 4. I know we're gonna have 4. Now 5 because it's probably gonna be Swift, Carry On, Bo, and between Ty and it's probably gonna be 4 for me. It's probably gonna be Carry On, Swift, Bo Scarborough between Ty Johnson and Hundley. It's probably so. I think we're gonna carry 4.
Oh, hold on 1 second. I got to remove my noise. Kids turned on a vacuum really quick, so I had to turn it off. I'm going to say 4 as well. I think obviously Kerryon Johnson, Bo Scarborough, and DeAndre Swift, and I think Huntley will be the 4th one. When it comes to the fullback position, I think it's going to be Nada, even though he's a tight end. I think they're going to utilize him. So I agree with you. I think it's going to be 4 for sure. What's going on, TA? Welcome, brother. Definitely think Huntley makes the team. I do as well. So I'm going to go with 4. Gregory says, hashtag ISN, when would you be comfortable drafting Stafford's successor in terms of games missed by him? How many games does he need to miss for you to be done with the back? Love the question. I'm going to tell you right now, if he misses... Look, back injuries don't get better. If anyone in there has had significant back injuries, such as myself, I've had a double neck surgery. I have all sorts of issues with my spine. It doesn't get better, folks. It doesn't get better. It can only get worse. And in my opinion, if he misses 4 games, it all depends to where we draft guys. If we do well, we make the playoffs, we're probably not going to draft his successor early. But if we don't make the playoffs and he misses 4 games, I am ready to go ahead and look for his replacement for 2022. We would draft him next year, and then Stafford could play, and then he can sit behind Stafford for a year. What say you, man? What would make you get ready for that moment of getting his successor?
If I was about Quinn, I would have started looking at it last year.
Okay.
So, because in the draft, I actually wanted us to pick up, between a guy like maybe a Jacob Eason, but he went earlier than I thought he should have went. So I was cool that we didn't get him. I really wanted Jake Fromm. A player, yeah. A player I would really like to see us pick up because I feel like his value is very low at the moment. Josh Rosen.
Yeah, that's facts. Yeah, I like that, man.
He has low. Yeah, he's a talented QB. He has low value. Let Matthew mentor him for like a year or two. Because even then, he played with the Cardinals, the most injured team in NFL history. Then he plays with the Dolphins, the least talented team in NFL history. Like he just extremely unlucky.
Yeah, 100%, man. You go to a team, then they turn around and trade you because they get the first pick, and then they go to the team that has another franchise quarterback to get a draft. He's the most unluckiest player to ever don a jersey. I feel bad for the guy. I actually watched a special from Flimlo Raps on him, and I was laughing the whole time. I'm like, man, this dude's got the worst luck of all time. Subscribe and shout out to Flimlo Raps, man. That's great. Outsiders want to release or trade Stafford so bad. I love the Outsiders. Those guys, C-Rad TV. Love those guys. There are some cool folks out there. Hashtag ISN. My question is really not a question. Can you guys please subscribe to One Pride Nation? He's asking, please subscribe to his channel. He's a new YouTuber for the Detroit Lions. If you haven't done so, please do so, man. And we support all channels on here no matter what. And if you want a shout out, you let me know. If you subscribe to any of us right now, we will shout you out. That's what it's all about. Hit that like button if you haven't done so. And we will go from there. In your opinion, Tone, who is the best draft player by Bob Quinn?
This is tough. For me, it's really between at this point, I might have to just go with Frank Ragnow. Taylor Decker is also up there.
Of the worst? Best. Okay.
Oh, best.
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah, keep going, man.
Like Decker's really up there. It's Ragnow. So for me, it's probably Ragnow. It's really between Ragnow and Tracy Walker.
Yes.
I don't really want to go with a guy this year, but I really like Julian. But I don't want to go with a guy this year as I see him on the field yet. So I'm just going to go with Frank Ragnow.
Sweet. I seen a bunch of people just subscribe to my channel. Hey, tell me if you subscribed in the chat. I'll shout you out. I appreciate the sub. I love Frank Ragnow pick. You're 100% right there, man. I think that pick was surefire, legit, and I think that's probably one of the best. But I'm gonna do, even though this guy has not proved it yet, I'm gonna say DeAndre Swift. That was my favorite player. I think for the value where we got DeAndre Swift for what we needed. I didn't think this dude. I thought we had to trade. In my mock draft, I had the Lions trading up from the second round to, I think, the 25th pick to draft DeAndre Swift. I did not believe there's no way in the world he was going to fall past Kansas City. And when he fell to the second round and the Lions stayed pat and drafted this guy, to me, he's going to be a difference maker. I think, to me, for value, of my expectations, I think he will end up being the best draft pick. Kenny Galladay's obviously too, third round pick, and Deshaun Hand. Oh, those were good ones. But Frank Ragnow, absolutely with you, man. What a great pick. I remember a lot of people were upset with Frank when they drafted him. I wasn't. I thought it was absolutely a fantastic pick. You know, there's nothing wrong with going the big uglies, especially in a position like the center where they're looking to call up plays. You know, they're doing all sorts of different things to get that thing going. So absolutely. And for the free agent, another free agent, I don't even know why I didn't think of this, Glover Quinn, man. Shout out to the DB room. Glover Quinn is a fantastic free agent, great guy all around. I hope he goes into the Detroit Lions Hall of Fame. Okuda or Swift. Okay, I see you. In your opinion, now let's switch it to the worst draft pick for the Detroit Lions and Bob Quinn.
Oh, this is tough. For Bob Quinn, his worst draft pick. It's not a lot of draft picks I really think were bad from Bob Quinn. So this is really hard. I guess it's this is a really tough question for me. It's a bunch of draft picks. It's not really a draft pick that I really hated out of Bob Quinn. I guess Jared Davis. Okay. I guess it would have to be Jared Davis at this point.
Yes, my bad. Glover Quinn was a Martin Mayhew. That was an error I said there. Absolutely don't want to say that. What's going on, Eric Brenner? Welcome, man. He's a content creator. Got absolutely fantastic content. Love it, man. One pride all the way through and through. And I appreciate you stopping in, brother. I truly do. And that's awesome for sure. And yes. I can't do that, man. I'm not that good at this thing, but I'll do it back. But for the worst draft pick for the Detroit Lions, I think Tease Tabor, man. That was a bad draft pick. That was a really bad pick. He did nothing for us, and I don't know what happened there. This guy was definitely a bad pick for our beloved Detroit Lions. He did absolutely nothing, and it hurt us. It hurt us big time. And he ended up going to the San Francisco 49ers. I think he was on their practice squad, and he was, I wasn't concerned about the speed, but he just did not pan out. Tease Tabor did not pan out, and that one hurt. It hurt our team. You got to hit on these second-round picks. You do. Amir Fumbula, was he a Martin Mayhew or a Glover Quinn? I'm not.
Yeah, that was Mayhew.
Yeah, Mayhew. That's what I thought too. A couple more questions here. #ISN Quinn has not had a winning season since he arrived in 2016. It's just a romantic idea that Bob is great of a GM as Belichick. Is it just a romantic idea to think that Bob is as great as GM is? No, I'm not going to say that Bob Quinn is great as Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick is just Bob Quinn is good. He could be in the atmosphere, but Bill Belichick is in the stratosphere. That guy is just on a different level of greatness. The guy sits back and gets Cam Newton. It just seems everything always follows his way, and he runs the whole thing, man. So I do think Bob Quinn's a really good GM. I think he's really good at drafting. I do. I think he's the better ones in the league. But when it comes to a Bill Belichick, he's on a different plane. What say you, Tone?
First of all, I want to say I'm pretty sure. I think didn't Bob Quinn have like 2 winning seasons? He went 9-7 his first 2 seasons. I'm pretty sure.
Yes, with Caldwell.
Yeah. No, because I think Bill Belichick is the best. Well, I guess I would have to say he's the best GM in the league. You know, his drafts hasn't been as good as lately, but he's just an amazing GM. He's probably the best GM in the league. So no, I don't think Bob Quinn is even near him. It's not a disrespect to Bob Quinn. It's just that it's
absolutely.
Bill Belichick.
Yeah. It's Bill Belichick and then everybody else. And there is no disrespect there. Bill Belichick he's done, like, every time they lose players there, you know, they lose a Trey Flowers or someone else, they just get replaced like it's nothing. And that is extremely difficult to do. That means you're drafting extremely well. That means you're doing great with your free agent pickups. You're doing great with contracts, like everything. I mean, what the Patriots have done is something that you don't see replicated at all. So a couple more questions, folks. Throw it in there. We're going to generally we stay for 2 hours, but it's just me and Tone. And so we're going to do an hour and a half today. So let's throw some more questions in there and we will get to it. Yes, Quinn is a decent general manager. TA is crying. Quinn is a great general manager. They fire him. I will be cooked. I think a lot of people would be upset because I think he is a really good general manager. But I do think that him and Patricia are tied at the hip. I do. If they decide to move on from Patricia, if he didn't do well and keep Quinn, I would not be upset about that. But it does start from the top down. It does. And you got to be able to do everything correctly from that point of view. And so I think that's important. Let's see here. Any more questions? If I could get one more sub today, that would be appreciated. That's more of a statement than a question. If you have put a question in there and that I did not answer it, please ask. Let's see. I think the best player. Okay, here we go. Are you worried about TJ's ankle? Took 6 months for him to start running routes. Surgery soon. He just actually got over surgery. And I'm not worried about TJ Hawkinson's ankle, actually. He's actually running right now, and he's starting to run routes. I think that he'll be fine. I'm more concerned about his concussion issues, and I think that's more of a concern in my opinion. What say you? Are you worried about his ankle?
No, I'm not really worried about his ankle. If it was like an ACL or MCL, then yeah, I would be a lot more worried. But if it's an ankle injury, I feel like he's going to be able to recover from that.
I 100% agree with you, sir. 100% agree with you, man. And this is why we have Antonio Hightower joining ISN. I'm impressed with his knowledge of the game, folks. And I'm going to tell you this. He did not prep for this show. He just comes on and goes. That means you know your football. That means you know your Detroit Lions. And I absolutely appreciate him coming on and joining ISN. Here we go. Let me see. Hawk needs to stay on his feet. LOL. Hashtag ISN. If Kerryon gets injured again this season, is he done? Yes, I think he's done. And well, it depends the injury. Done for the season. If he misses 6-7 games, yeah, he done. He done. I actually have him as a potential trade candidate by trade deadline. But what say you, Tone? If he gets injured, is he done?
It really depends on the injury. Mm-hmm. If it's just like it depends how serious the injury was. Yeah. Because last year he was out, he'd been put on IR. Is he done? I could see him coming back on the team on on a contract where you got a lot of injury requirement stuff in place. Mm-hmm. You know, you play this amount of games, stuff like that. I could see him coming onto the team like that, but I don't think he's done. It would have to be like, because he hasn't had like an ACL tear. Yeah. He hasn't had like an MCL tear. If that were to happen, I think he could be done.
I agree with you. I absolutely agree. I think this is a big year for him too, just like Jared Davis. But we drafted people don't realize this, but DeAndre Swift was drafted way before Kerryon Johnson. And Juma Forever, I don't know if I've seen you in here before. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe, but I appreciate you. And there's a lot of people in here that are not subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Also, every single Tuesday and Thursday, we're live at 7 p.m. Eastern time to talk Detroit Lions content. It's called the One Pride Podcast, as you're seeing now. Monday nights on Travis Troxell's channel. He is literally in the description. Subscribe to his channel. We do all about fantasy football. So if you like fantasy football and you're a fan of a different team, not the Detroit Lions, jump in. We have fun. We absolutely have fun. We drop content every single day. So if you subscribe, sometimes we just like to go live whenever. I enjoy doing that. So yeah, man. But right now we've been going on for an hour and a half. And generally, folks, if you're new here, we have a big panel. We have maybe 5 or 6 people, and that's what we do. But tonight, guys, guess what? We have 4th of July coming up, and people are on vacations. And vacations and family is more important than Detroit Lions football. So who is the highest paid? Okay, he's now trying to get us here. I said, don't cheat. Who's the highest paid head coach in the NFL? If I were to guess, it is the Green Bay Packers coach. He just signed a deal. Am I correct, Jorge? The Green Bay Packers coach. He just signed a massive deal, as I can remember. I'm pretty sure. Am I right, Tone? Is that who's the highest paid?
I don't know. I would think it'd be Kyle Shanahan.
Shanahan, he signed one too.
Yeah, that's what I would think. But I don't know who the highest paid coach in the NFL is.
Yeah, I'm taking a guess. No, who is it, Jorge? Don't you I know you like to mess with me, but I like to know who it is, man. I like to know who it is. So before I kick out, let me know who is the highest one in the NFL. And I know it's not Matt Patricia, that's for sure. I know it's not him. Mike Tomlin's a good one too, but it could be, yeah, you could be right, Mike Shanahan. That makes sense. Bill Belichick, really? I didn't know that.
That seemed too obvious. That's why I figured it wouldn't be Bill.
I know that's what I was thinking too. That's just too obvious, man. That's right, man. Well, it makes sense, man. He also does GM work, so he's not just a head coach. He does it all, so I guess that makes sense. But as we close this show out, we do last words. Tone, is there anything you'd like to say while we close the show out?
It's been fun talking on here with y'all today. I've been looking to talk some Lions football for a while, so this has been a pretty fun experience.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you. Everybody, congratulate Antonio Hightower for jumping in and joining ISN. It's not easy jumping in and talking sports like the way he does, and we appreciate his hard work and dedication. So as I close the show out, man, I appreciate every one of you from all forums. I know not everyone's here on YouTube, so I appreciate from all the sites that are on here that you guys are joining in, listen to us, talk Detroit Lions. Everyone have a great holiday. Continue to social distance, continue to wash your hands, but celebrate with your family, celebrate with your loved ones. If you're in different countries, hang out with the family, and we appreciate you from where you're at. It's all about family here, folks. It's all about having fun. It's a community. You don't even have to be Detroit Lions fans. We're one community. And we love them all. A lot of the fans in here are not Lions fans because we're one community. So please subscribe every Tuesday and Thursday. We're live. Monday, we're live. We're live all the time, and we love NFL. We love football content. We have individuals in ISN that does basketball, high school. We trying to do it all. That's Infinite Sports Network. We talk sports endlessly. So with that said, folks, have a fantastic 4th of July. Have a fantastic weekend. And like I always say, adios.